Give me a second, I forgot one of my palettes. Of course I did. My brain is not working today. Welcome back to my channel, and today I'm bringing you my first introduction of 2023. This is the PANtastic Ladies Collab Beauty A to Z, and I'm going to be doing this eyeshadow edition. This project was created by Jessica and Amanda, who will have linked down below, as well as everybody else who has joined in. This is not my first time doing the Beauty A to Z project. I originally did this, I think it was not last year, the year before. I'll have that linked up in the cards so you can check it out if you would like. But that year that I did it, I had seen a few people come out and do it as a eyeshadow only project, and I thought I would really like to give that a crack. But I have been doing my Pan Those Eyeshadows project. I'll have a couple of those linked up here as well, so you can check those out if you would like, and they have been my most popular video on my channel, so I was hesitant to move away from that content because, like I said, it was the most popular. But I was really inspired to do Beauty A to Z as eyeshadows only. I have noticed that there are a few other people who are doing that this year as well, including Jessica, one of the creators of this project. And I'll have a separate list down below for anyone who is doing this as an eyeshadow edition project. So please, if you're doing this as eyeshadows only, let me know, and definitely check out down in the descriptions to find out others who are doing it as an eyeshadow based project. Just a little spoiler for the future. This isn't my only eyeshadow based project I'm going to be doing for 2023, so I'll have another introduction coming up in the next few weeks that may be of interest to you if you are interested in eyeshadow based projects. So before we jump into the eyeshadows I'll be working on, just a quick little recap of what this project's all about. So the concept of the project is that you select an item, either beauty or makeup, that corresponds with a letter of the alphabet. So you're meant to get from A to Z. That is, of course, the English alphabet, which has 26 characters. But if you don't use the English alphabet, you are welcome to change up the project and use it to your own alphabet. I am using the English alphabet, so I've got 26 eyeshadows here in front of me, but I did not select these eyeshadows myself. I actually got my mum to select them for me, and she also wanted to add another little bit of a caveat to the rules. Therefore, not only do I have 26 eyeshadows, they are all from 26 different eyeshadow palettes. And I'll be honest, when she first said she was going to do that, I didn't think that I would have enough palettes with shadows that have names that would correspond to the letters without there being repeats. But I am sitting here with 26 different palettes to represent these 26 different letters. So with that, let's jump in to what I'm going to be using. So I've got a list over here, so if you see me looking this way, it's because I've got the list of what the shadows are and the letter that they correspond to. So with all that, let's jump straight into it. So my main goal is to hit pan on all these eyeshadows. So with that in mind, one of the rules was that the shadow could not already have a pan on it, which means that a high proportion of these shadows, actually all of them except for 3, have never been touched. Some of them are still in the plastic that the palettes came in, which is a little bit shameful, but that is why I'm doing both this project and the other project that you'll see the introduction for in the next few weeks. Like I said in my last video, one of my main goals of the year is to get use out of my collection rather than just hyper focusing on one or two shadows, which is why I'm actually moving away from the Pan Those Eyeshadows project. I did love it, I really enjoyed it, but I was finding that for some strange reason, even though I have something like 700 shadow pans, individual shadow pans in my collection, that it seemed to be the same palettes and the same shadows that were getting rolled into the project, and it takes me a very long time to hit pan. I'm a bit of a slow makeup user, so I thought that going this way and having 26 shadows to begin with will mean that even though the chance of me hitting pan on all 26 shadows is very, very low, at least I'll be able to get some use out of all these 26 shadows rather than hyper focusing on just 1 to 5 shadows and then having to roll new ones in as those ones hit pan. This gives me a bit of variety, but also more likelihood that I'm going to utilize more pans within my collection. So with that all said, let's jump into what shadows I'm going to be using, complete with some swatches. I'm going to lay out 13 along here, 13 along here, and let's see what color story I've got to work with. I'm very excited to see. So first up, for the letter A, we're going to be jumping into my Beauty Bay Technidays palette. The shadow we're going to be working on is Acid, which is this one right here, and that is it right there. So it is a minty green color, one of my favorite types of colors. It is very pretty. For the letter B, we are going to be moving into the W7 Total Eclipse palette, which looks like this. For this one, we're going to be going into Big Dipper. Where is that? Big Dipper. Big Dipper is this shadow just down here. Let me remove the plastic. Hey guys, so this is Editing Verity, and I've just realized that I filmed a whole section about the shade for B using Little Dipper instead of Big Dipper. So I'm just going to insert here a quick little snip of what Big Dipper looks like, which is actually the shade that is being rolled in for B, also from the Total Eclipse palette, and this is also a swatch of that. So yeah, that is the shade that's actually getting rolled in for the letter B. For the letter C, we'll be jumping into my I Heart Revolution Frozen Raspberries palette, and the shade we're using from in here is Cloudberry, which is this shade just here, that beautiful orangey red shade. So that is it just there. So that's Cloudberry. For the letter D, we're jumping into the I Heart Revolution Iced Latte palette. These palettes, so this one, and the black cherry one we'll be looking at later, they all have a scent to them. They're quite lovely actually. But from this, if I can get it to open, from this palette, we're going to be jumping into Decanter, which is this gunmetal grey over here. So let's get a swatch. Oh, it's very smooth. That is it. Oh, that is it right there. It's very bronzy. It's actually a lot more bronze than I thought it would be. Right there. Letter E is from our Beauty Bay Midnight palette, And that will be Electric, which is this bright purple shimmer down here. That is it right there. Then for the letter F, we're jumping into my newest palette in my collection. This is the Mad Beauty Hocus Pocus palette. I got this from my parents actually as a Christmas present. This is what it looks like here. And we're going to be jumping into F Flirty Witch, which is this shade right here, that one there. Let me just pull the plastic back so I can get my swatch. That is it right there. That is definitely the shade that I would most correspond to my mum's favorite color. So I'm not surprised that one is in this. So far we're doing quite well. None of the shades are the same. Let's see how we keep going. G is from my W7 Whatever Totally Random palette. And it is, what shade is it? It is Gold Card. So, Gold Card is this shade just up here. Let's grab a swatch. And I'm going to take the plastic off. I both love it and hate it when they stick the plastic down. It's great because they don't just fall off, but sucks when you're trying to access them. That's it, just there, just a gold shade. For H, we move into the Sephora Caffeine palette. We're going to be working on Hazelnut, which is another gold shimmer. This one is a lot darker. This one here from the Totally Random palette is a lot more yellow gold, and this one here is a lot more orange gold. All right, let's move into the next one. I is from the Beauty Bay New Moods palette, and it's Inspired, which is... Inspired is this blue purple down here, this beautiful shimmer. Ooh. It's a lot more purple than I thought it was going to be. Let me give you a better swatch. If I hold that up, where does that go? So that's where we want to add. There we go. It's a lot more purple. I thought it was really blue in the palette, but it's got quite a purple shift to it. That's it right there. So J is from the Beauty Bay Berries palette, and we're going to be using, how do you say that, Jura? J-U-R-A, Jura. It's this one just down here. That is it right there. I am terrible at these swatches. I apologize for that, but it is this shade just here. So that's Jura from the Beauty Bay Berries palette. K is from the Revolution Game of Thrones Forever Flawless Mother of Dragons palette. That's what it looks like here. And we're going to be working on Carl, which is this brown right here. Just a basic matte dark brown. That is it right there. These swatches are all over the place. For L, we're going to be using the Sample Beauty Cult palette, and we're going to be using Liverpool, which is this red right here. So that is it right there. This one here and this one here are kind of similar family story, but this one's a lot brighter. So that is Liverpool from the Cult palette. So that's that one right there. So M is from the I Heart Revolution Tasty Avocado palette. The shade is Mousse, which is this one just here. We're going to be swapping arms to swatch on. So that is it right there. So a brown, very brown shimmer shade. I feel like I've got a new chance swatching on this arm, but I'll probably do just as bad. N is from the Revolution Beautiful Darkness palette. We're going to be working on Nightmare, which is, where is it? Nightmare. This one up here, it is a yellow mustard color. I look so awkward trying to swatch. That is it right there. O is from the Sample Beauty Equalizer Volume 1 palette. And it is this shade here. It's called Of Hearts. It is a beautiful shimmer. Oh, wrong finger, wrong hand. It's a beautiful shimmer red. That is it right there. P is from the I Heart Revolution Black Cherry palette, and it is the shade Punnet, which is Punnet. It is this shimmer just down here. That is it right there. It's a bit of an orangey pinky shimmer shade. P is from the I Heart Revolution Cocoa Pebbles palette, and it is Quarry, which is this one just down here. Once again, the plastic is stuck down. Spending all my time just peeling up this plastic. Okay, so it's this shadow right here, which is just a basic cream. That is it right here. You can't really see it, just a basic cream shadow. I will hopefully be able to hit pan on that one pretty quickly. R is from the Beauty Bay Earthy palette. It is the shade Ray, which is this one right here. Beautiful. This one is gorgeous. Right there. Okay, this one here and this one here are very, very similar. These two right there. If you can see that. But beautiful inner corner highlights, so even all over the lid they will be great. S is from my Celestial Dreams palette, and it's the shade Super Moon, which is this shadow right up here. Let's see if I can just, I reckon this one's going to be very similar to Ray. Yeah, that one is kind of similar as well. I think we've got these three here are quite similar to each other. T is from the Beauty Bay Bright 2.0 palette, and it is the shade Taxi, which is this bright yellow over here. That's it right there, bright yellow. U is from my BH Cosmetics Trending in Tokyo palette. So it is the shade, I don't exactly know how to say it, Unio Park. It is this pink one. As you can see, this palette has never been opened. Where do you, how do you, does it tear back here? Am I gonna have to like cut this? Oh, no, it's head. Yeah. Oh, and then there's plastic underneath that. Wow, they really don't want you to ruin their eyeshadows. So like I said, U is this pink over here. That is it. Wow, that is it right there. V is from my Nikki Tutorials Beauty Bay palette, and it is, this is the palette. This is the palette right here, and the shade is Vala, V-L-A, Vala, and that is, where is it? This yellow just up here. So let me, it's like a very bright yellow verging on citrus color right there. So that is that shade. W is from my BH Cosmetics 80s Remix palette, and it's the shade Wake Me Up, which is this blue right here. Nice light blue. There we go. That's it right there. Now for the letter X. So for X, that was the one letter that I didn't have in my collection. So no names of shades started with the letter X. I was going to use a shade that had X in it, but it didn't start with it. But I thought I would do something slightly different because I also have a heap of palettes that don't have names. So the shadows don't have names. So what I do for those is when I put them into my inventory, I just number each shade. So 1, 2, however many shades are in the palette. And the Roman numeral for X is 10. So I thought I would pull out a shade that doesn't actually have names and use the 10th shade in one of those palettes. So the one that was picked for me was the Maybelline The Blushed Nudes palette. And the shade is number 10, is this one right here. See it right there, oh, just down there. Let me add a bit more. There you go, right there. So that is what I'm using for X. For Y, we jump into my I Heart Revolution's Fruity Pebbles palette. And for that, we're going to be using Yabba Dabba Doo, which is this shimmer green shade just down here. Once again, we have another stuck down plastic. I feel like I'm spending this whole video picking off plastic. Okay, so it's that one right there. There you go. That's it right there. And last but not least, for Z, we jump into my LA Splash Classic Horror palette. And with that one, we're going to be using Zombie. This pink, this matte pink color down here. There we go. That's it right there. So this is terrible. I am the worst swatcher. But here are the 26 shadows that I'm going to be working on for the next 12 months to see if I can hit pan on them. Make sure you check out the description box for all the information in relation to others that are doing this project, how to access the PANtastic Ladies if that's what interests you, when the project starts, which was the 1st of January, and when it finishes, which is the 31st of December. But I'm going to be doing my updates every, say, 4 to 6 weeks. We'll see how it goes. And dependent on how I go with this, we may be ending it slightly before the 31st of December. But that's all I've got for you today. So I'm Verity. That was the introduction for my Beauty A to Z Project Pan Eyeshadow Edition. And now to the outro.